Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Matrix Mindset Academy. I'm Brian Dalmaso, and today I want to talk about another one of the universal laws. I said yesterday that we're going to go through some of the 8 primary universal laws that are having an impact on all of us, and this is the perpetual transmutation of energy, the universal law of perpetual transmutation of energy. And I know that sounds like a mouthful, but I really want you to think here. I don't want you to just listen. I want you to think, use your mind, and understand some of these universal principles. It can change everything in your life. It really can. Human beings, we are conduits for creation. We have energy flowing to and through us. Now, whether you realize this or not is irrelevant. It's the way it is, right? This is not my opinion. This iPhone that I'm talking onto used to be thought energy, right? That was a transmutation of thought energy to and through Steve Jobs into his team and into thousands of people all around the world. Making all the components for the iPhone, doing all the programming. That was a transmutation of energy from the thought to the physical thing, right? So we're all transmuting energy at all times, right? Energy is going to and through us at all times. Now, what you're transmuting the energy into is the question, right? The problem is most people don't know this law, and they don't know that they're doing this. So you can transmute energy into depression, anxiety, stress, into a lack of creation, but you're creating something. You're creating depression and anxiety in the physical body. That's a form of creation. So if we have thoughts of fear, doubt, worry, lack, debt, sickness, disease, if we're looking at the news, if we hold these thoughts in our mind, then that energy is transmuting to and through us, causing procrastination and depression and anxiety. If you're always worried, that's what's going on. So we're always transmuting energy, but which way you're transmuting it is up to you. It's coming to and through you in the form of positive thoughts or negative thoughts, right? So everything in this universe happens by law, and that's what this series of 8 days in a row is going to be talking about. Every single thing in the universe happens by law, not by chance or not by luck, but by universal principles. Principles like gravity, electricity, magnetism. And this law here is the transmutation of energy, right? This is how an acorn goes from an acorn as a seed into an oak tree, into the leaves, and then the leaves fall, they go back into the earth. That's a transmutation of energy, and energy is forever moving into form, to and through form, and back into form, right? So that's kind of a mouthful, but what that means, just like the oak tree, right? It starts as nothing. The acorn starts as a seed. It actually starts as energy, and then transmits to and through the tree and drops as a seed, ends up in the soil, and that energy transmits to and through the soil and into the tree, into the leaves, and then back onto the ground, and eventually disintegrates back into dust. But the energy is neither created or destroyed. It's just transmuting forms from energy to and through the physical form and back into energy. So nothing's either created or destroyed. Same with human beings. We moved into our body when we were born, and we move out when we pass away, but we're never created or destroyed. That energy keeps moving. That's a whole other subject. So guys, thought energy is energy that's held in the mind, and it will begin to transmit into physical reality. That's really how this all works. And I can see here Valerie Rogers is watching. Hey, Val, we're going to have her on next week. And she's done this in her life into the form of a car wash. 2 years ago, it was just thought energy, just a thought in her mind, and she had no business thinking of a car wash. She was a laid-off teacher, and she got an idea in her head that she wanted to create a car wash in her area because there wasn't one around. So that was just a thought 2 years ago. And we're going to bring her on next week and really dissect this, but that's a good example. And she held that thought in her mind long enough to transmit to and through her body, to talk to the right people, put the right things in place. Next thing you know, they're breaking ground, and she'll be having a car wash, I believe, this summer. So a really good example. It was no coincidence that you popped on here, Val. So think about this, guys. If you have a bad idea, it will happen. Whatever you're holding in your mind, if you're thinking doubt, fear, lack, debt, worry, loss of job, foreclosure on your house, it will happen. It has to happen by law. Now, whether you believe this or not is whether you believe it or not, but it's science. It's not my opinion. It's physics and science. So it would behoove you to, again, that's why I said at the beginning of this, I want you to think and listen. It would really benefit you guys to study this stuff and understand some of these principles so you can learn to master the transmutation of energy into a clothing company or a software company or a construction company, all these other companies I have. That's what I'm doing here. It's exactly what I'm doing. Those are the principles in Think and Grow Rich. Now, it's not clearly spelled out in Think and Grow Rich, which is why I'm clearly spelling it out to you now. Right? What we do in the Matrix Mindset Academy is we take Harvard-level subjects and we break it down to an 8th grade level, right? Everybody here, at least on some level, you understand that an acorn turns into an oak tree. So if an acorn can turn into an oak tree, your thought can turn into a business, or your thought can turn into a relationship, or your thought can turn into perfect health or being on stage as a fitness competitor, if you understand this stuff, right? Now you can actually see this transmutation of energy on an infrared camera. You can actually see it. So this, again, this is not just hocus pocus. This is science. Right? The Wright brothers, when they were thinking about flying, I mean, that was illogical. That was impossible. That was fantasy. Didn't exist. Everybody told them you're out of your mind. Their own father thought they were worshiping the devil. They thought it was like human beings are not meant to fly. That's satanic. That's blasphemy. But that's what they were doing. They held that thought in their mind. Now, they were not aeronautical engineers. They were bicycle mechanics. Hey, Patty, how you doing? Good to see you. Think about that. The Wright brothers were bicycle mechanics. They were not aeronautical engineers. Nobody knew about Bernoulli's principle of flight, or principle of lift, I should say. So we didn't know any of the physics behind it. They just had an idea in their head, and they transmuted energy because they held the idea in their mind, and they caused the physical body to take action, experimentation, build things, try stuff. That's what that is. That's a transmutation of energy. And everybody here watching and everybody in the world is doing this all the time. But what are you transmuting your energy into? That's the question, right? So guys, remember, any idea you hold in your mind, it has to transmute to and through you into the physical form by law. Wealth, depression, health, disease, it's all a transmutation of thought energy. Does that make sense, guys? So we get a lot deeper on this on the Monday night webinars that we have. So make sure you're tuning in. Make sure you're getting full value out of this Matrix Mindset Academy. Tune in on Monday nights, 9 o'clock p.m. You can look at the link right in the units there, and we'll go through this stuff, all right? We'll get much deeper into it. So guys, the action item today, I want you to think back sometime in your life when you get an idea in your head and you went after it and you created something, whether it was a relationship, maybe you built a home, maybe you started a business. Could be any small thing too. Maybe you decided you want to play the guitar. That's what this is. It's a thought that causes the physical body to move into action. So if you can do it to play the guitar, you can do it to generate $10 million in wealth. There would be no difference, but your conscious mind is going to have limiting beliefs that tells you it's different, but it's no different. I promise you it's no different. If you can learn to play the guitar, you can learn to generate $10 million. And again, if you guys show up for Monday nights, we'll get a lot deeper into this. And if you keep watching these MMA broadcasts, you're going to see that what I'm talking about here is science. It's not my opinion. All right, guys, so pay attention to what you're thinking. Make it a great day. Until tomorrow, be well, and God bless.